Whew. All right, man. So Squib and I, we had to do some early morning calisthenics because it's just he and I holding down the fort today. So Army of Two, everybody, here we go. Welcome to Caliber Corner Season 5, episode number 260, the finest quality of life improvement podcast anywhere on the internet. Nowhere else can you feel better when you leave this podcast than right here. So today we're talking about the perfect firearm for home defense. Does it really exist? It seems like we have these discussions over to birdshot to not birdshot, ARs in the home, suppressed ARs, blah, blah, blah. So today we're going to have that discussion, especially at a time where, you know, it's the holidays. You might be making some expensive purchases and you might be in the market for, say, a new firearm, and home defense just happens to pop up. I myself, within the last year, I've changed my bedside gun, I guess you could say, from what I used to be running before. So Squib and I will just kind of chat a little bit about some of the different platforms that are out there. Anybody else that joins in, that'll be cool. I did send the invites out to 43 people this morning, so we'll see if anybody else wants to show up. But if not, hey, it's all good. You guys are here. You guys are all watching, and I appreciate you doing that. So before we get started, let's let Squibblood go ahead and introduce themselves. You're rocking the Nebraska-based thumbnail right now, so you're an honorary Nebraskan, Squib. I will say that.
Yeah, I actually had to explain to somebody at work how to pronounce Carney. He kept saying Kearney, and I'm like, no, it's Carney.
No, it's Carney, like carnival workers.
Yeah, and he wouldn't stop. And I'm like, dude, I get why you're saying it, because if you're pronouncing it the way it's spelled, yes, but it's actually Carney. And he just wouldn't. Yeah, so I've been cultured. It's
okay. The other one that we have is there's a city. It looks like it's spelled Cairo, Cairo, and that's up in north central Nebraska. And when you're driving in, they have a sign that says "Welcome to Cairo," and they've got pyramids and like people on camels, like on the sign, the "Welcome to" sign. But everybody pronounces it Caro, and I'm like, no, Caro is a syrup, Karo. It's a corn syrup. And they're like, no, it's Caro. I know it's Cairo. I'm sorry, it's Cairo. Whether you want it or not, don't put pyramids on your sign and expect me to pronounce it any other way, people.
So. Do you actually make Caro corn syrup in Nebraska?
No, but we buy it. Maybe they make Caro in Cairo. Maybe that's why they call Cairo Caro. I really don't know. It just leaves me confused. I've always been confused.
I'm totally confused now. So
the other one's Norfolk versus Norfolk, but that's a discussion for another time. We need Sandhills Media in this one to explain that one to me. So
he's gonna have to duke it out with somebody from Virginia.
Oh, is it Norfolk, Virginia, or Norfolk?
It's Norfolk.
Norfolk, because I think I called Norfolk, Virginia. I don't even know.
There's Beaufort, North Carolina, and you go right down the coast. There's Beaufort, South Carolina. They're spelled the same, but they're pronounced differently, and they're not very far apart.
And then there's also West Carolina and East Carolina, and then West Virginia and East Virginia. It's so confusing when you go down southeast, you know?
See what happens when somebody ends up in the central time zone? They're geographically challenged.
No, this is what happens when you pull geography out of public schools. And on that note, joining us, we have American Hillbilly. American Hillbilly, what's going on? How you doing? He's finding the mute button.
Hey, buddy. How you doing today?
All right, we're good, man. Hey, it's going to be a fun discussion today. I'm really curious to see what you're rocking for home defense. So we'll do a little round robin, and you guys can share your preferences. You don't have to give away all of your secrets, but maybe give a suggestion for what you think is an adequate home defense firearm. And so what you been up to, man? Are you staying busy or what?
Oh, yeah. I've been kind of under the weather here lately, so.
I see everything going on right now. Flu, we got crud, runny noses, coughing, RSV, whatever. You know, it's all going around. So hopefully you'll make it through the podcast today.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Tim S is out there. He says, "Hey, at Hillbilly Up." So yeah,
buddy.
All right. Now, Defense Stat says to top it off, Kearney's misspelled and they never changed it. It's named after Colonel James Kearney, Kearny, and also Fort Kearney, right? Defense Stat. Yeah, he's right about that. So, American Hillbilly, what's coming up on your channel, man? What do you got coming up? Anything fun, new, exciting? You want to let us in on any little secrets? What's coming up on the channel?
Yeah, I actually do have a pretty good announcement here on some stuff we got going, but could I come back with that in a few minutes? I literally just got home. Sorry I'm late jumping on here.
Yeah, just say, hey, Travis, can I make my announcement? Just interrupt me, and that's fine. That'll be cool. We'll do it, because otherwise I'll just be I'll just be blabbing for hours. And I mean that sincerely. Just let me know when you're ready, okay?
Okay, thank you, buddy. I sure appreciate that.
Yep, no problem, man. Real quick, let's give a shout out on the YouTube side. Poor Gizzard Gary, man. He goes, I've been down sick since Tuesday night. This junk is wicked. Yeah, it's just a mishmash of miserableness right now. But thank God we have NyQuil for moments like this, Gary. That's all I got to say, buddy. Gunpowder Beauty's out there. Bjorn's out there speaking Japanese. I just know hi, and that's it. HAI, right? Does that mean yes? I have no clue. Defense Dad's out there. Gunpowder Beauty, JH586. Tim S is out there. Ozzy Osbourne, Fluffy 10mm Jeep guys watching. New York Outcast is with us today. George Washington's out there. Good morning, good sir. John Z, Missouri, EDC's in the house. Kendrick 98's watching. Gunmetal Guy USA says howdy. Let's see who else is out there. Matthias is out there. Hola, Matthias. ¿Cómo estás? Let's see. Bjorn's out there speaking Japanese. Squiblo's over there. Squiblips over there. The Squib-Eye Empire's in full effect over on the chat side. And by the way, if you're looking for something to buy for that person that has it all, and if that person just happens to be a gun guy or gun gal, you need to head over to rnldisplays.com, where they have fine display furniture that you can use to display your fine firearms. And yes, they are Glock compatible. This will work with your AR-15 platform firearms. They've got different finishes you can check out. American-made, veteran-owned. Now, I'm not endorsed by these guys. They sent me these stands as testers, and because I got these stands from them, I like to let people know about how awesome they are. And whoa, speaking of which, here's El Jefe himself. Here's the Mero of the RNL Displays Empire, New York Outcast. Outcast, how's it going this morning, dude? What are you doing?
I'm doing all right, trying to warm up, but
I'm just plugging your channel, trying to get you a spot on Shark Tank, buddy. That's also.
Oh, wow. That'd be cool, man.
Look at this. He dusted off his alarm clock and actually used it.
Well, he's an hour ahead of us. He's East Coast folk. It's 9 o'clock. I'd be going full speed at 9 a.m. right now if I was him. I'd already be up and mowing and doing all that crap. So, So, Outcast, what's new in your world, man? What's going on?
Not a whole lot. Just work, some of the normal stuff. So, starting to get out shooting, but I haven't had the chance lately with things being pretty hectic. But I'm hanging in, surviving. So.
All right, man. Sounds good. Gizzard Gary's got a little, what's he saying? I feel like being someone who owns more than a half dozen Torai, I'm not the one to talk you out of it. What? Okay. Oh, I know that there's a, so I think what's going on is DE Guns has a special on G series pistols, and they're super duper cheap. So if you're in Nebraska, you can order them. But if you're in Nebraska, the DE Gun specials are pretty hard to beat right now. So I'm not endorsed by them, but all right, let's just get right into the discussion right now. We're talking about home defense. What is the perfect gun for home defense? A lot of people will say, well, it's the gun that you shoot best. And, we always have this discussion about the truck gun or the ideal pocket pistol, blah, blah, blah. So what is it that makes something a good home defense firearm? And I'm going to say it right now. We're going to try to give you the best advice we can, but the internet is an awful, awful place to get information about the best home defense firearm. Even though we've got a lot of friends that do podcasts on it, it's a great topic for discussion. There's a lot of websites out there. I did some searches, and a lot of these websites are like, oh, yeah, this is the perfect home defense gun. That's a perfect home defense. Anything can work if it can stop an intruder. But I notice a lot of those websites, they talk about their list, their top 5. And, of course, they've got links to buy those guns in their websites. They've got the ads floating around, They're like, oh, the Springfield St. Victor's a wonderful carbine for home defense. And I'm not going to doubt that it is, but then there's like a Springfield banner going across the top of the website. So the first thing you just need to consider is like, what are you defending? What are we talking about? Is it a home? Is it an acreage? Is it like a multi-story building? What is it that you would be defending for home defense? And I think that, in my opinion, I think the pistol is the all-around perfect choice because of capacity, just because of mobility and so on. But there are Marines, Squib, you can back me up on this, that clear buildings with 20-inch FN carbines, right? So I'm going to go around the panel and just ask these guys, like, what is your take on the perfect home defense firearm? What is it? What do you guys think? And it can be something philosophically. It can be something literally. So Squibload, what would you say, man? What is the perfect home defense firearm for you?
Well, for the record, yes, I've cleared buildings with an M16A2. I could clear a building with my M1 Garand. Now, some people are going to argue the length and the fact that it'll blast through multiple walls and stuff like that. And you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And I'm not saying that's what you have to use. But what you have is what you've got to deal with. You have the opportunity to acquire more things if you say, I want something for this purpose. I want something for that purpose. I want a backup for this, a backup for that. I can tell you that having only one hunting rifle, for me, I've discovered is not a good idea. That if that breaks, I've got to borrow somebody's rifle or scramble to fix it or something else like that. And you might go, well, any rifle's a hunting rifle. Well, not really, because depending on what your state laws are, you have to have
Yes.
it in a certain caliber, certain length, or certain capacity. Or same. And the same thing with home defense. If you have certain state laws that you have to abide by, that should be your first criteria. What can you legally own? What can you use? In some states, you're limited on ammunition. On some states, you're limited on capacity. On some states, they've got to be on a roster. On some states, fill in a blank, right? I think Rick said when he lived in Rhode Island, when he took his concealed carry class, he had to, whatever the biggest caliber was that he shot at the class, he could carry that or smaller. So if he went in there with a 10 millimeter, he could carry a 10, a 380, a 9 millimeter, a 22, something like that, right? But he couldn't carry a 44 Magnum. And I don't understand that law, but whatever. So, and I understand you also don't need a concealed carry permit in order to defend your home. We're talking about defending your home, but it's just, that's an example of silly state laws that don't do anything to make the public any safer. And that's the first thing that I think anybody should look at is, what can I own or use legally in my state? After that, then I would say, try to fit in what's most comfortable for you, what you shoot well, what you acquire the sights on well, what feels good in your hand, what just, if you've got multiple guns and you go to the range and this is your favorite gun to shoot, it might be your home defense gun. That might be. It's not necessarily going to be, but it might. And then after that, start looking at your setup. Are you in an apartment where you can blast through the neighbor's wall? Do you have a big house? Do you have a small house? Are you out in the country? Do you have property that you might clear? So say getting from one end of the house to the other is a long distance, or there might be the likelihood that you have to go outside and deal with. Home defense isn't even always people either. You might have a chicken coop and have to deal with coyotes and that sort of thing. So maybe you've got a handgun by the bed and a
30-30 or a pistol caliber 30-30 that matches your revolver.
Right, you've got that behind the door or something like that. Yeah. So it's going to be different for different people. So I agree with you. Don't just watch one YouTube video and this guy says this is the best, and oh, by the way, they sponsor me, and then that's what you get. You've got to look at your situation. So we could talk about our situations, or talk about our experiences, or talk about the laws in our states, or talk about this, and that might help somebody. But I think at the end of the day, it's really going to come down to taking a bunch of those factors and putting them together to make an informed decision. One thing that I will not accept is what I can afford. I don't subscribe to that. It's like, I need a gun right now. I have $200. I'm going to go buy this Sky. All right. If that's what you want, then that's what you want. No, that's all I can afford. No, that's BS, because there's multiple ways in order to afford a more expensive gun, or a more reliable gun, or a gun that you're going to shoot better, or a gun that is a caliber that might be more acceptable for the location you're defending, or that sort of thing. It's that you don't want to use those options. And somebody who says something like, there was a break-in next door, I've never owned a gun, I want a gun today. I want a gun today because I'm afraid I'm next. What were you waiting for? And once again, I won't accept it. I won't support it. It's like, dude, don't come to me crying because you didn't think this was important, and now suddenly you do, and you want an 11th hour solution because you're not going to get it from me. And I know some people say, well, that's not good. We need to bring more people in the fold. I get that. I get what you're saying. But I'm just, I have no tolerance, no sympathy for the people that, now it's their problem. Now they want me to resolve their problem. What's the best gun? There is no the best gun.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we just look at how we spend our money, unless somebody's on an extreme fixed income situation and they've got medications that eats up every spare dollar, and I mean, I get something to start, but then put some money back, and then maybe at some point trade that gun in or sell that gun and get a better gun. Whether it's like a police trade-in, M&P or Glock or something for $349. I mean, heck, you could even get, like I was mentioning earlier, a G2Cs for $225 before rebate. I mean, there's so many options that you have out there that the money part of it, I just think that if we really take a look, really sit down and look at what we spend our money on, I think we'd have a lot more funds available if we just didn't make these purchases that we buy that we don't need but we want. I just look at how much we spend on stuff, and it's just like, yeah, I could easily have the money to buy this if I would just stop buying that, or quit doing this habit, or quit doing that habit, or quit whatever, So I do agree with you totally. You can have a good functioning firearm if you just prioritize your finances and get something that's going to work for you. Gizzard Gary says, Travis P11 answered the question, but I believe the true answer depends on the situation. Are you sleeping at night, coming home to a door that's ajar, under known attack, etc.? We're just talking about just a gun to have in the home, just to defend your home, home intruder kind of situation. What I'm thinking about, what kind of spurred this, is I watched a video a couple days ago. It was a guy dressed up like a UPS driver, and he sat a package down and had a fake scanner in his hands and pretended to scan and rung the doorbell and kind of walked back. And as soon as the person opened the door, it was a real video. The guy rushed in and 3 guys followed behind him, which is a horrible situation, absolutely awful situation. So, you know, which is ridiculous. It's gotten to this point in America that you have to worry about something like that. You can't even go to the door to get what you think is a package that's arriving. I mean, I guess why would you go? But if maybe it's something that your kids ordered and you had no clue and you opened it and boom, the guy's there. So something to defend your domicile is what I would be talking about. So yeah, Squib, you make a lot of good points there. It's like, what are you most comfortable with? First of all, what can you shoot? What are you allowed to shoot? I thought Nebraska had a rule, and I could be totally wrong about this, that you can't conceal carry 50 AE. I might be wrong about that, because I thought maybe that was maybe that was Oklahoma. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, so what can you legally carry? What kind of capacity can you legally go with? Obviously, we don't want somebody to buy something that's going to get them in trouble, you know. What are you comfortable shooting? What can you practice with on a regular basis? So Squib, what do you think here? Like, should the type of structure you live in dictate what you shoot? Like here, there's somebody calling for double-aught buck out there in the chat already. Should you have the shotgun because of the apartment situation? You got to worry about penetration of rounds. I mean, as we've seen before, even birdshot will go through multiple layers of drywall and 2x4s. You know, what do you think, Squib?
Yeah, I did a penetration test video. I was going to do a follow-up and never did. But I was surprised that pretty much everything went through 2 layers of drywall. Some of it went through the 2x4 and the drywall as well. And I mean, everything from, I think, 36 caliber round ball black powder to birdshot to a frangible. The frangible ammo that's supposed to shatter when it hits something like that went all the way through. So no matter what you use, you're assuming a liability. However, I think there are certain steps you could take, like using something like birdshot or frangible. It's going to go through less. How's that? Yeah. If I go downstairs with my 7.62 battle rifle and use it, it's going to go through the bad guy, through the window, into the neighbor's house,
into the car in the garage, through the car.
Yeah. So yeah, but I think that your structure is one of those factors. Look at your state laws. Look at what you're going to shoot well all the time or most of the time. Look at what sort of area you're trying to defend. I mean, Gary's talking about, you know, coming home and defending. Yeah, that's a whole different topic. This is being in the house. And, you know, another thing too is how you keep the gun. Some people just leave guns out in the open. And if that's what you do, that's what you do. It's your house. Other people put them in lock boxes, stuff like that. So if you get a handgun, right, you can get one of these inexpensive lock boxes that you just hit a couple buttons and pops open and you're good to go, right? You're not going to shove a shotgun in there. I mean, I know they have those. They have the ones that you can put in your walls and just attach them to a wall stud, and you could put hidden furniture and, you know, all that. You could do all that. It just depends on what you're willing to spend and how much time. And if you want to have a gun in every room, and you know, that's things to consider too. But I'm looking at it more from a standpoint of you've got 1 or 2 guns for your home, and the structure really does kind of dictate that. I mean, for example, we have a small house. We defend it with handguns. If there was a mob out on the street and up on the roof, I'm going to be up on the roof with my M1 Garand, and it's going to be a bad day. But inside the house, handguns are just fine for us. And we use hollow point or frangible ammo, and you know, it's a little house. It really is. They've got to come through the doors on the first floor and come up the second floor to get to us at night. We've got a dog. You know, I mean, we have different. You know, and your scenario might be different. Your bedroom might be right next to the front door on the first floor, and you know what I mean.
You might sleep in your living room. You know, who knows, right? I mean, your situation. Every situation is going to be different. So yeah. And again, I think the ammunition is something important to consider too. I would always consider using some sort of home defense or personal defense ammo. I'm a huge fan of critical defense. I've just seen how it performs. I know ballistics gel is just one metric, but it seems to be pretty consistent. And there's things about that ammo that are designed to sit in your gun for a very long time and then do what it needs to do and function well. I'm also a fan of 6-hour VC round, hollow points. I think those have good expansion also. And I'm not going to really talk about caliber. That's up to you to decide what you want to do for caliber of like handgun. I guess we're more about the platform, because if you get the handgun, you're going to get whatever gun appeals to you most, fits your hand the best, fits your budget for being able to practice on a regular basis, and so on. So there's a lot of decisions that happen, but the first thing to consider is what can I have? Okay, then after that, maybe what is my budget? You know, what can I start off with, or what do I really want? What kind of maneuvering do I have to do? Do I want something short and lightweight and easy to maneuver? Or do I need something that's, you know, that's a little more powerful because I'm defending some land or something, right? You know, who was it?
Yeah,
go ahead.
That is a point that I didn't talk about that I think I'm glad you brought up. Yeah, you can get a caliber that's expensive to feed your gun, right? And you like it and you're comfortable with it and you feel comfortable with it in the home. But is it something that if you're going to go to the range that you're going to be going, ouch? So maybe that might be another factor to throw in there is, are you practicing with us a lot? And if so, is it affordable from that standpoint? I'm not saying you know, you can afford the gun, or I shouldn't say can't afford. If you find a way to afford the gun, you should find a way to afford the ammo. But there are some guns that you get, and then later you look at the price of the ammo and go, why did I do this? Or maybe even there's shortages again, and that caliber is popular or something. So maybe you want to have a backup gun in another caliber just in case or something like that. But yeah, what you spend on practice, it does factor in. And I'm glad you brought that.
Yeah. All right, cool, man. All right, so American Hillbilly, we're going to move on to you. What do you think is what do you think works best as a home defense firearm? And, you know, taking everything that Squib took into consideration, all those factors, what's kind of your take on it? What do you think?
Well, I mean, here where I'm at, I mean, we're just going to use whatever is available to us. I mean, you know, make, you know, the best out of the situation that we can. If we're talking about, you know, like what would be my choice or, you know, something like that. First of all, though, I would like to say, you know, I think you should have something, if this is your deal, that, you know, a firearm of some sort to protect yourself and your family, and, you know, just get something regardless, you know, of what it is to start out with. And then, like Squib says, you said you can always, you know, get something better, you know, down the road. But, you know, my suggestion, or for me, I just want something regardless. But I don't know. I'm thinking if the perfect scenario, kind of what I have myself personally, is my first go-to is a pistol that I shoot quite often, that I feel comfortable with. And, you know, so that's my very first go-to. And then the second is a bullpup type shotgun. And as soon as I get to that shotgun, the pistol's going to, you know, be holstered, or, you know, or in my pocket, whatever the case might be. But that's what my situation is here. And if I have time, then, you know, the AK, you know, strapped over my shoulder, you know, whatever the case it is. But I think there's so many different situations, you know. But my first go-to is just a pistol that I'm very comfortable with. And it is 9mm, you know, kind of high capacity, you know, that type of deal. But now if I have to go outside, then, you know, I'm probably grabbing the rifle. But inside, you know, the pistol or shotgun would be my to go to, right?
And, you know, we've got so many options now. When you say shotgun, it's everything from the old Mossberg or Remington, this or that, to, you know, like some of these Kel-Tecs. And I mean, it's crazy and the bullpup options now. And I mean, I've got that JTS AK pattern shotgun, and that thing's a beast, man. I mean, it'll run, you know, I've got 10 round mags on that thing I can slap in there. You know, they're $40 a mag, but still running double-aught buck through that thing, that will definitely you know, bring things back down to your side, I think. So yeah, I mean, that's just it. And you know, do you want to go the shotgun route? Do you want to go the rifle route? And it really does. Like if you got a ranch house and a lot of land around you, and there's nobody nearby, and there's nowhere to go, there's no neighbor to go to, you might want something a little more stout. And Fluffy 10mm, you guys got a good point. Next to my bed is my CCW gun and an AR pistol and 300 blackout with the can on it and subsonic ammo. I mean, that right there would just be you know, maybe say 8.5, 9-inch 300 blackout with a suppressor on. And we haven't even talked about the whole noise thing. You know, do you want to run a suppressor? Do you not want to run a suppressor? If you got yourself, you know, an 8-inch AR pistol, 300 blackout with a suppressor on it, it's going to be about the same length, if not shorter than a 16-inch carbine, depending on the size of your suppressor. So, you know, and depending on how you're running that, if you've got some sort of a collapsible, you know, stock or whatever on it. So yeah, that might be the way to go too. So yeah, I mean, otherwise, you know, the good old fashioned high point always works, doesn't it? The high point carbine, man, it goes bang. You only got what, 8 rounds or 10 rounds, but it goes bang every time.
Yeah. Well, I personally happen to have a couple of higher capacity clips of mine, you know, rifle that, yeah, when you brought that up, yeah, I mean, something, you know, with a can on it, you know, would definitely be a great deal. But then again, there's times too that, you know, they say one of the scariest things that a burglar or somebody, you know, might hear is a shotgun being racked, you know.
See, I wonder about that, because to me, that gun's not loaded. You just gave away your position. If I fire in that general direction, there's a pretty good chance I'm going to catch you, unless it's in like a bedroom behind a door or something, you know. I don't know. I always, but it's true that you see people whenever you watch shotgun videos or tactical shotgun videos, like, yeah, when I was in law enforcement, you know, what got the bad guys to give up was me pumping that gun when I ran into that property. And it's like, okay, I'm not going to doubt that isn't a sound of authority, but still, you know, I mean, it definitely would get somebody's attention. So I don't disagree with you on that.
Yeah. And I mean, on my type of situation, I mean, I doubt, I mean, more than likely where I live and stuff, somebody's going to be coming here, you know, really armed with, you know, bad intentions, which I know it can happen to anybody anywhere.
Yeah.
But in my situation, you know, it'd be more something like a younger kid wanting to break into something. So, you know, a shotgun, something that's loud and, you know, something to scare them off. You know, there's so many different situations, you know, that a person could go through. So I think under, you know, each situation, a person might have something different, you know, that you'd want to use or want to do. So if this is some type of simulator with all different situations, I mean, I'd say it'd be endless of what you would need for that particular, you know, situation. So
yeah, no, I hear you, man. I think New York Outcast would probably suggest that you go out there and buy a plethora of guns. Yes, I just said plethora, and get a bunch of platforms and a bunch of ammo, spend a bunch of money, and then just get whatever feels best. You know, that's what I did. Anyway,
yeah,
man. No, I agree. Yeah,
you always got that R&D supply holder there, you know, for backup. You know, you chunk that first, you know.
Yep, that's right. This
maybe
guy
last means, you know, you're grabbing that.
Take this off. It's just like a boomerang. Whip off the mag and just whip it. If somebody hit him in the head, you know. Or I could throw my high point. You could get a high point because that's a brick, you know. You could it makes a good club. Makes a great wiffle ball bat. So, what do we got here? So, gun toting pacifist says 300 blackout suppress sounds like a great option. I need to get one. It's cool, man. It's cool. I actually did a test on subsonic ammo, you know, velocity and energy in short barrels versus longer barrels, like 10.5-inch versus 16-inch. It was interesting what I found. You lose a lot of energy when you cut back a certain barrel length. It might surprise you, even though 300 blackout was developed to, you know, give a full powder burn at like 9 inches a barrel, you know, or more. It is kind of funny what happens when you shorten up the barrel on a 300 blackout. Kevin June's got a good point here. Mossberg 500 retails for what, $350. Totally diverse. Ammo selection is vast, cheap, and effective. I would never shy away from buying used firearms, especially something like a Mossberg 500, where there's, you know, what, like a Remington 870, where there's tons of parts out there. You can go through it, make sure it's going to run well. You know, shotgun ammo is relatively inexpensive. I can get 5 rounds of a really high quality Winchester double-aught buck for like $6, and that stuff is pretty potent. It runs at like 13.25 for velocity, so it's pretty quick. What do we have here? Kendrick says a cannon at the top of the stairs. A cannon loaded with buckshot at the top of the stairs. How about a blunderbuss, man? I think a blunderbuss would work really well, because if you had a group of people coming at you, you know, you could definitely fall back on just shooting grape shot at people or whatever you want to call it. So maybe a good flintlock will do the job. Dueling flintlock pistols. So if the first one doesn't catch them, the second one will. I did watch that Grand Thumb video on the flintlock pistols. That was interesting. How much damage these 50 caliber, you know, balls could do out of a rifle barrel. So. Let's see. Escalation of violence goes up 70% when the perp knows somebody's in the house. Tommy, here, what we hear all the time on the media is that a perp won't go into place if they know if somebody's armed. So like a lot of criminals, if they know that there's somebody with guns in the house, they won't go in there. So that's kind of I don't know. Maybe that's the stats that you were saying. So R4 Mississippi Thunder says, I know I'll get hate for this. I made some mods to my Black Aces Tactical with the bird style grip. I've really been liking that thing. R4, if it runs well and it's holding up and there's no problems with it, more power to you, man. You run whatever. I hate it whenever we shame people for what they do to guns, unless it's something that makes the gun like dangerous to the user, for whatever reason. But you do what you're best to run with. I tend to keep my guns fairly vanilla and plain and unmodified, but do what goes well. Fluffy 10mm Jeep guy says, I picked up a Ruger American Ranch, awesome rifle, by the way, M300 Blackout that takes AR mags and the Savage version. I think you meant to say stock, maybe. I can't tell what you're saying there. So talk about quiet with the can on it. Yeah, I was thinking about getting a can for my Ruger American 7.62x39 rifle. I got the threaded barrel, and I'm really tempted to do that. I can get the 5.56 or the 223 Remington Magwell or the 300 Blackout Magwell for it. And if I do that, then I can run AR-47 mags in it, which would be cool because the Mini 30 mags are expensive, and I only got a couple of them. So. And then last but not least, Rob D, what's your take on firearms for home defense? Where does a person begin, in your opinion? What do you think?
Where do they begin? That's a tough one, I guess.
So you own a pistol. What made you decide to buy your first handgun for home defense? What sold you on it? What was it?
For me, it was more having a handgun for mobility, like around town.
Okay.
Obviously easy to conceal. You can't open carry in New York, so it's not like I can go to work with a rifle on my back here. So that was pretty much it. Now, as far as like the home defense, I mean, me personally, I have like a cocktail I go by. So, meaning handgun is probably, I wouldn't say my closest, my easiest to grab, shotgun, and then rifle. So it depends what I'm facing. If I have notice, I have obviously security system, motion sensors. So my motion sensor thing will tell me how many people are, like if you hit my porch, it'll give me an idea of how many people hit my porch. So that, if it's 3 a.m. and that starts going off, 2-3 beeps, and I'm going to grab the shotgun because they're going to have to come through a hallway and they're at the front entrance. You know what I mean?
It's like a pack of raccoons or foxes or rolling up on your front steps, or some coyotes or something. But
play with sensitivity, but I've got it now where it doesn't really pick up on cats because for some reason cats love my porch. But yeah, it basically depends. I like to have all the options available because, in my opinion, you just don't know. It's like a car accident. If you were expecting it, you'd make sure it didn't happen. Typically, like an accident,
yeah.
But so I personally like options. And I don't. I'm big on not being the only one armed because if I get into trouble, somebody else has to, kind of hold the fort down.
Yeah, that's a good point too. The kids and the spouse might be a good idea to take them to the range and let them practice with that firearm, or at least know, the basic. You can tell them don't touch, but they should maybe know how it operates in case you become incapacitated or something would happen to you. I mean, we've seen stories where kids have saved their parents or kids have saved their little brothers and sisters when there's home intruders. We see it all the time. And again, we're talking about this 1 in a million chance, right? But it doesn't really hurt to just have a handgun around the house for home defense. And then you can use it, for other things too. It can be your competitive gun. It could be your hunting weapon. It can be your fun at the range on the weekends gun. There's more uses for it than to just have it sit there and just collecting dust in your bedside stand, So yeah, I do agree with you on that. But yeah, I didn't think about that. It's what are you going to grab? It kind of depends on the scenario and the situation. And then also, where you live, you might be a little more restricted than other people with what you can have, Do you have magazine capacity restrictions?
We do. We have 10 round magazine limits. So so that's another thing. That's a reason why my bedstand has several magazines on it. And I'm rely on multiple firearms in a sense.
Because so many times I hear about New York, it's New York City, not New York State, which is a shame because the rest of the state is probably not in agreement with New York City on gun safety, and what people want to own for firearms. It kind of sounds like California, where once you get out of certain counties, there's a lot of like prolific sportsmen and gun owners out there that don't agree with the sentiments of the mass of voting public.
Oh, very true. Most people in upstate don't seem to agree with it, at least that I come across. I mean, I'm sure some people must, like if you believe the numbers, but it's a lot of people don't agree to it, basically. So now, like as far as like the all to go around home defense weapon, I think that's one of them questions that's kind of loaded. There's too many situations, too many variables. I mean, if you have somebody,
since we're not sponsored by anybody, we're not pushing a CMMG Banshee chambered in 5.7.
Yeah, in my opinion, I guess one example would be, if you're a rifleman and spend all your time with a rifle and don't, never really dealt with a handgun, then why would you refer that person and go to a handgun? Or vice versa. If you spend all your time in pistol classes and that's your forte, then why tell them they have to use a shotgun? You know what I mean? Personally, I would say go with what you're best with and don't be stupid. Don't take chances because, it could be that one occasion that, things could go bad. So, it might be something serious and not just your brother-in-law or the kid next door drunk at the wrong house or something. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Always play it.
Where I live, people constantly get lost, and Squib can attest this. Every building looks identical, and unless you see the hard to read like building numbers, which are like molded into the building concrete, you don't really know which building is which. So I'm always getting other people's mail. I'm always getting other people's packages. The Grubhub drivers go around in circles for hours at my complex, which is crazy. You think in the era of maps that they would know the front door, but I mean, it can happen, especially get into suburbs where all these townhouses look the same. Like you said, we've seen it before. Wasn't it the police officer, was it in Dallas, that she came home, went into the wrong apartment for whatever reason. She lit up the guy that was living in that apartment, and she was drunk at the time. She was an off-duty officer, I think. And, she opened the door because it was unlocked. And, so yeah, you really want to you need to know the scenario. And I do like the idea of having some kind of a first alert that goes off for you, like a door chime or a motion sensor. I use a combination of the whole Nest system, and I've also got cameras in the house. And so when that front door opens, if I have it armed, it's gonna do a quick countdown for you to punch the code in, and it tells me that there's somebody here. It tells me what door just opened, and it alerts me. So if I hear that and there's nobody else here, and there's not supposed to be anybody else here, I'm going to be very leery about who's coming in the door. And the other thing too to consider about the handgun, we didn't really discuss this, is having a free hand, so that Defense Dad and I are on the exact same wavelength there. Handgun I think is best when you have children. Might need the free hand to direct them where to go, and then also having a free hand, for a flashlight. You can have your weapons light. I mean, I do, but I also have a flashlight sitting off to the side too. And a lot of times to manipulate that weapons light, you have to use your trigger finger to turn it off and on and strobe and stuff. So if you have a flashlight in your left hand, it does free up your hand if need be to do other stuff like open and close doors or whatever. So that's why I think, in my opinion, that the pistol is probably the best way to go. Some sort of handgun is probably the best route to go, especially nowadays with the capacity that you can get on a non-magazine restricted state. You can have 33 rounds of critical defense in your Glock 19 or Glock 17, and that's going to offer a considerable amount of firepower. Oh, here's single shots joining in. See, I really would lobby. And you could say, well, I want the takedown power of the AR or the AR pistol, or I want the 300 blackout because I can run suppressing. Again, you do what's going to work best for you. You could also do a suppressed handgun also. And with the era of tall night sights and red dots, you can have a pretty formidable, piece of hardware that you're running in your home to protect yourself. So Bjorn says it depends on if you live in an apartment, what gun should you use for home defense? Well, with the house too. I mean, a lot of modern houses don't have much more than some drywall, some insulation, and some outside shingling, and then the bullet goes through to the outside world. They aren't necessarily more, maybe like a brick house could be a different situation and so on. But all right, also joining us, we have Single Shot. So Single Shot, how you doing today, sir? You good?
Well, doing all right, I guess, for an old fella.
Yeah, so we're talking about home defense here. let's just get right to it. What do you think is the best gun for home defense, the best firearm for home defense? And it is a loaded question because there's a billion variables that determine what's going to work for you and what's going to work for me. What do you think, man?
I like a shotgun myself.
Okay, why is that? Is it the flexibility in the ammo? Is it the sound? Is it the multiple points of contact for stability? Is it the takedown power? What is it about the shotgun that moves you?
It's been a popular answer. Oh yeah, all of the above, because you've got so much variable with the shotgun. And years ago, the problem that we had is we have 3 different types of shot, and you use each one for each different range that you're at.
Okay.
So there was a spell in time there where the doctors kind of got ugly at us because they had to spend hours on end picking shot out of somebody. Now, I come up with the idea many years ago of a beanbag. And those are used at close range. They don't over-penetrate. They won't kill somebody unless you absolutely hit them in a very vital spot, center of the rib cage, etc. And I tested them out, and they worked really well out to about 25, 30 feet, which is pretty close to standard combat range anyway. So those rounds were picked up on by some of the manufacturers for law enforcement. They call them a beanbag round.
Mm-hmm.
And they're using them today. A zone would be considered beanbag. B zone, it's a little bit further out, would be considered buckshot range. And then you go to the longer range, which would be the slugs. That's a C zone.
Mm-hmm.
So I tend, if I'm going to use anything in home defense, I'm going to use one of those bean bags for the reduced powder charge, because they are much safer if you use them in a area where the houses are close, or as mentioned, apartments, something like that.
The one thing to watch out for, and this is again another 1 in a million chance, if that person has some sort of body armor on, because we've had mass shooters wear body armor in recent times now, and so you got to hit them in a spot where they might not have any protection. That's the only thing I would think of. Is I'm not saying I disagree that it's a bad option, but if you have multiple assailants, or the person comes in heavily armed, or the person's on something, at that point you got to decide how bad do you want to stop the threat, and you're right. I mean, you might be taking yourself out of a certain amount of liability and litigation, but you pull the trigger on somebody in your house, there's going to be litigation. You're going to be going into the police department for questioning and whatever happens at that point. So that's the other thing to consider too. So
if they're wearing body armor and they take a bean bag, they're going down. They're not going to ask for seconds either.
If they've got steel plate armor,
that traumatic impact is going to quell that situation in a hurry.
Okay. Hey, I mean, I respect that. I respect your answer, your response. That's a very unique response that we haven't heard yet. And for some people, that might be what they want to do, because they might live in a dense apartment complex with thin walls, and then maybe they'll have that handgun as a backup if the threat doesn't stay down. It's like, hey, So, but I mean, the fact that those things could crack bones or could do some pretty serious internal damage, I think a person's going to be stunned if you hit them with something like that. So I don't doubt that it's necessarily a bad deal. So, bad deal for the bad guy, but yeah. All right. Mountain View says, I'm getting my first 1911 pistol. I don't really collect guns. Everything has a purpose except for this. LOL. Yeah, I bought mine just because I felt like it was time to get a nice 1911, and I wanted the barbecue gun. I wanted something that was kind of fancy looking and so on. What does Thomas say here? My neighbors are half a mile from me, and my house is a 120-year-old farmhouse with strong inside walls. I don't worry about over penetration or cover if needed, but it's also in favor of the bad guys to a point. A lot of points of entry, lots of windows, you know, things to consider. Lock your door. That's a good way to stop people from coming in, and close your garage. That's another one that you should really think about doing. You know, you can get like a Simply Safe system for like $150 for your home. So you've got something to alert you, you know, if somebody's coming into your home. And I'm not going to promote any one type of alarm system, but, you know, that's just an option that's out there.
I just picked up a Simply Safe system, by the way.
You have one?
Yes.
I got a friend that has one. I do like it. I'm thinking about maybe switching over to one of those. I do like how it's app controlled and everything's integrated instead of buying like a bunch of different brands of stuff like I have with my Nest system, because all these companies are Nest compatible, but you got to try to balance it all out and whatever. You know, it's nice to just go with one integrated system that's kind of an all-in-one package that's done. So
just a warning in that Simply Safe system, it works a lot better if you're in a good coverage area for service and Wi-Fi, whatnot. So with your router and whatnot, because there's a lot of connections that connect up to it. It's going to tell you it's quick and easy. It's not. The battery, every battery's got to charge for 5 hours. You have to program each individual device, every door sensor, every window sensor, the base sensor, everything. Your little thing, everything's got to go through So the day you plan to set it up, plan on, you know, using half a day depending on your system. So I paid to install them, and you know, as far as the advertising, you know, they advertise quite well, but it's not.
Yeah, they're heavily saturated on all these gun channels. I remember a couple of years ago, they were always doing the Simply Safe with it, and a lot of online like XM radio. A lot of their broadcasters, both liberal and conservative channels, have Simply Safe ads on them and stuff. You know, you know, if you want something maybe convenient but not necessarily the 100% most reliable versus a wired in-home system with monitoring, you know.
They do work, don't get me wrong, but it's more difficult than the advertising, or anybody can pop this in. That's why people are paying me to put it in or whatever. But and on top of that, you got another factor that people don't count on, depending on your traffic area. Like if you're in a really high traffic area and you got it on your driveway or something, and there's constantly vehicles going back and forth, you're going to charge that battery more often than the rest. So keep that in mind. So at some point you're going to go out when you're not being there. This is all stuff to think ahead of time. You can pre-game and never have a problem with it, but you want to know what you're getting into. If you're not very tech savvy, I would steer you away from Simply Safe. It's just everything runs off your phone. You know, it's a lot of updates, apps. I literally had to make accounts for people, you know, so they can get email and all types of stuff. So if you're like an older person that doesn't deal with that stuff, don't even bother. You know what I mean? There's other systems that would probably work out for you. But
even my Nest system can be frustrating with the software, and occasionally makes you log back in again, and there's Wi-Fi down notices that pop up on it, and it's already at a point now where there's a lot of stuff that's they're not even making for it anymore because Google's kind of already moved on to the next thing. So but yeah, no, I agree. And again, I don't want to make this entire discussion about that, but that's another thing too, is like, in addition to having the home defense firearm, what other kind of systems would come in handy? And an alarm system at least can give you a heads up so you can get to your home defense firearm wherever you keep it, however you have to store it, and then have it on ready in case you need it. So X Adam 1 says, who's the bear that's taken over Travis's chat? No Shave November, my friend. Did it for a fundraiser up at work, and I decided to leave it. It's a lot grayer than it was 2 years ago when I had a beard. I'll tell you that right now. Bill Beam says, I run Blink cameras. I haven't looked into those yet. You know, between like what is it, like Nest and I don't know what all the brands of cameras are that are out there, you know, the Ring cameras and stuff like that. At least you have a lot of options now. That's one good thing. You're not just stuck having to go with just like an ADT only system. Somebody can get something that's going to fit their budget initially and get themselves set up so they can be safe. What is it? If you run a security system that runs through your internet, set up a UPS for it so if power goes down. Oh, a universal power supply. Yeah, get an APC battery backup for it so it'll keep running. My Nest system will run up to 12 hours on battery backup, and I've got the Wi-Fi connection for it also. So, or not Wi-Fi, the cellular data connection. So if the Wi-Fi goes down, the battery will keep it running for 12 hours built into the unit. And then also it has a cell phone connection that will keep it connected to the server so I can still monitor the doors and everything, and the alarm still goes off. And the door sensors are all battery power, and they need to be replaced like once a year. So yeah, it's kind of interesting what's out there. Gary says now it's don't shave December. I don't plan on it. It's nice. It keeps my face warm when I walk the dog in the mornings. So yeah, hey, Hillbilly Up, do you want to make your announcement?
Well, here, I'm sorry, here in just a minute, but something came up when you guys were talking there. I was listening, and different lines of defense or whatever. I mean, we have 2 Australian Shepherds, and they are, more than likely our first alarm and, that type of deal. So, an animal is definitely a good alert system. That, something that people might not think about, but, a dog or whatever is great. And then he's talking about the security systems. I have in my house, it's just it's a camera system, security system. It's not through one of those deals or whatever. You can buy at Best Buy. You can start out like at, $200, depending on how many cameras you want.
Mm-hmm.
They're hardwired. I have it, where it comes up, it's on 2 different TVs. And those are always on, monitors, and so honestly, that's one of the things that I've enjoyed the most is if you hear something bumping tonight, something outside, the dog starts to bark, I can glance up at, those cameras and, really make a decision right then. Okay, I'm not seeing anything or something like that. And so, that's always something that's fairly cheap. And, if you're in a place where you can't have guns, I would strongly suggest that, if possible.
Yeah, I got a buddy that got, I think it was Night Owl was the name of the company, bought a system at Walmart, but they're available online. And he got him like the 8. He was having vandalism issues with his vehicles. He restores classic cars, and he was having people vandalize him. It was ridiculous. And so he put up 8 cameras. And the first person the cars got vandalized one time after that. And then after that, they arrested the kids that did it. Yeah. And or they charged him, whatever they do to him for vandalism. And it doesn't happen anymore because he's got the cameras prominently mounted right up in the front, the sides. There's 8 cameras. And they all run to a DVR, and he could also set up for cloud backup if he wants to. And he's got a dedicated TV screen in his home just for that system, and it automatically starts recording when it detects motion. It's insane, dude. It's got its own hard drive on it and stuff. And the whole system was like $200, including the DVR.
There are very cheap systems out there that you don't have to pay for every month. So I just want to let people know. And personally, I've tried both. The hardwire is a much better system than the wireless on those cameras, but I just want to throw that in there real quick, buddy.
Okay. Yeah, Minnesota Mike B says he had the Night Owl system. The cameras went bad pretty quick. My buddy's had his for 3 years now, and it's been solid. So I mean, who knows? I mean, it could be a bad batch. It could be just a bad run. Sometimes companies do that. Real quick, I do want to make an announcement. At some point, maybe even tomorrow, I'm going to be posting my review for the Manus Blackbeard X. Now, just off the top, I'm not sponsored by Manus at all. Manus did not send this to me. This was sent to me from Artisan Tony. And I went ahead and did a review, and a video just kind of shows you the basics of how the system works, the setup, the software, what you can do with it. I just filmed it down in the garage. I had a good time with it. And so we're going to be giving this away. So what you're going to want to do is put comments on my video. Now, they got a lot of people watching right now. Leave comments on my video for this, my review, which I'll be posting maybe even tomorrow. And if you are in that, if you leave a comment over on Artisan Tony's channel, and I've got a link to his channel in the description box for this video, you can go over to Artisan Tony's channel, like and subscribe. And you don't have to be a sub, but if you are, it helps. But anyway, so we're going to go live over on Artisan Tony's channel, and we'll do a drawing at that point. We'll do a random comment picker, and it'll come from my video review. So you go to my video, there's a link to Tony's. Go to Tony's to watch the live podcast, or check it later to see if you won. And we're going to go ahead and show you how the Manus Blackbeard X system works. It's very, very cool. I had a great time with it yesterday. Did not want to let it go. In fact, I'm probably going to buy one. I know I'm going to buy one for myself, but anyway, that will be given away. That's a $319 system that Artisan Tony has, Manus has donated, and Tony's going to let it go. And that's going to go to one lucky person, just to let you guys know. So be watching for my video. Like I said, I might just post it tomorrow morning. That'll be my video for the week. I usually post a video on Wednesdays, but if we do if I post it earlier, we can get the comments in earlier, and then we can do the drawing and get it to you before Christmas, before December 25th. Because I think like the 20th is like the last day I can ship or something to get something to you in 5 days. So what do we got out there? Some beards out there, beard talk going on. Defense Dad says amateurs have been doing No Shave November nonstop for 10 years. Who else was out there? Bjorn says, I've not shaved since August. It's driving my girlfriend nuts. LOL. Oh, my mom and my grandma absolutely just do not like it because my dad's side of the family, we don't grow nice, big, full defense dad style beards. They're kind of scraggly, so it takes a lot of maintenance to make me look this handsome every day. I want you guys to know that. But anyway, so all right, now with me, just kind of the evolution of my home defense, firearm setup, right? It's kind of funny. I actually had a bedside gun when I was in high school. We had pistols in the home. My dad said this is for, for home defense, for security, if something ever happens. We practiced with it. I respected it. It was locked up when friends would come over and so on. And then when I got out on my own, when I turned 21, the first pistol that I bought from my friend's dad, well, we went through a legal transfer and whatnot, but it was a Gen 2 Glock 20, 10 millimeter. And it was a stupid thing. I regret selling it. I sold it in college. And I do want to go back and buy a Gen 2 G20 at some point. So I had that, practiced with it as much as I could. It was pretty expensive to shoot back then. I was on a college budget. And there was really no internet ammo ordering that you could do. Ammo was whatever, the mercy of whatever the gun store price was. And so I didn't shoot as much as I wanted to. And then after that, I got a Smith & Wesson SW99, which is the copy of the Walther P99, which kind of laid the groundwork for the Canic pistols. Had that gun for a couple years. Then after that, what did I go to after that? Had a shotgun and a EAA Witness P compact model. Good gun, Tech Volvio, 9mm Witness. And then from there, I went to a 4th Gen Glock 17, which I had for years. Then the pandemic hit, and then there was protesting and people going nuts, and I upped my game to an AKV, which was my bedside gun with 630 round magazines, all with hollow points, and I thought that should stop most concerns. But I've since put that back and locked all that back up, and now I've got just a Walther PDP with 5 mags. It's got an 18 round capacity, if I'm not mistaken. All the mags have either critical defense or 6-hour beak round in them. And I shoot the PDP really well. I can get a good purchase on it. I've got a light on it. It's got a 5-inch barrel, generates some pretty stout velocities. And if I want, I could put a red dot on it also. So right now I've got the Walther PDP because of all the guns I have, I probably shoot that one the best. It's, sub 1-inch groups at probably about, probably 10 yards, 7 yards. I'm happy with that. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. But I mean, if things get heavy, obviously the ARs are going to come out of the gun safe or the AKV and so on. Pistol caliber carbines, not a bad idea to consider, especially if you're not good with the handgun. It is difficult, contrary to popular belief, it is difficult to shoot a handgun accurately, especially when I watch myself shooting on camera. It takes a lot to do what I do with the shoddy accuracy that I produce on paper. A lot of, stopping and breathing and concentrating and shooting. So consider maybe a PCC, pistol caliber carbine, or possibly even an AR as you get the 3 points of contact, as you get better control. There's a lot of people that I know that shoot rifles and, AR pistols and stuff better than they do handguns just because you have the additional purchase, okay, whatever way, shape, and form you follow. So again, it really is going to come down to whatever you want to run, whatever works best for you, whatever you're most comfortable with. Just consider if you're going to, any gun indoors, if you have to shoot it indoors without hearing protection, it's going to leave you a little hard of hearing, especially when law enforcement shows up. So just keep that in mind, what's going to happen after. With an AR, if you shoot it indoors, it's going to ring. It's going to be loud. I've shot my AR a couple times without hearing protection just because I wanted to know what it was like at the range. I was just like, what is this like? Done that a couple times with, shotguns and stuff. And so that's also something to consider. So, really, I would lobby hard for you to think about getting a suppressor on your firearm and running subsonic ammo, or even the suppressor with supersonic ammo to at least pull back, 20 decibels from what's coming out of your barrel. So could just take that into consideration. But the suppressors are expensive, tax stamps are expensive. Nobody wants their name on the list, and you got to worry about ATF and this and that. So you do whatever's going to work best for you and whatever you're most comfortable with. So again, it really seems like we could take this discussion as far as we want to and really get into the pros and cons of different platforms. But really, there's just so many options. It's whatever's going to work best for you. I would just lobby initially for a handgun, then maybe after that, like a short PCC, pistol caliber carbine, whether in whatever caliber you want. Keep in mind though, guys, by the way, if you run like a 10.5 inch or shorter AR or AK, you're going to lose a pretty significant amount of velocity and energy behind those rounds. Not so much that it's not going to stop somebody, but you're not really gaining much by going from a 16 to a 10. You're losing maybe a third of your velocity and energy out of the barrel. So just as a heads up. Hillbilly Up, you want to make that announcement real quick? So I'm about ready to call it.
Yeah.
So what's going on, man?
And I was going to do this little challenge, and it started out 12 days. But since I was a little late posting it or getting a hold of everybody here and, and some other places. So what I'm deciding to do is I'm going to do 7 gun shorts of Christmas. And basically what that is going to be here, I'll put it up here in the side chat. So I'm going to do a gun short every day, post every day from December 18th to December the 24th. And so if anybody wants to join in with that and have some fun with it, that hashtag there, see, did it go up?
Let's get you up here. There we go.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that hashtag is open. There's nothing that goes to it. So if you use that hashtag, it'll, put everybody's videos in the same search or same place together. So, anybody that wants to join in and do that, then I think it'll be a lot of fun. You can, if you want to do this, you can do something, with guns and, Christmas, theme, whatever you want to do. But I just thought it'd be pretty interesting and a lot of fun because even though there's a lot of things going on along that time, it'd be nice to sit down and be able to watch, everybody's, fun videos or, whatever it might be, and so I thought it'd be a lot of fun if anybody wants to join in on that. We'll just have some fun with it.
I agree. I try to release videos on holidays. Like I'll try to release something on Thanksgiving or on Christmas Day, just for fun, just to kind of let people know you're still thinking about them and you're kind of giving them something to do when their family's driving them nuts. They can take 5 minutes out and just have a couple laughs with you and, chat and be part of the community. So seriously, that's why I do it, is because, somebody's stuck, driving with their kids 25 minutes to the in-laws. They're not looking forward to it, but hey, we're there for them, man. We're there for them, blowing up. We're making guacamole for everybody, right?
Yeah. You sneak away to a corner of the house and you go watch a Travis P11 video to try to get your mind straight so you don't strangle your in-laws.
I love my family, but our Christmas it's like literally like 3 hours we take breaks because it's insane how they're going around in a circle and opening gifts and talking and blah, blah, blah. And then I usually just sneak away at some point and just go find a place to lay down. And then I usually hear my grandma like an hour later, where's Travis? Where'd Travis go? Okay, she didn't sound like that, but I'm just saying I hear that, I'm like, oh, I gotta get back to the family. I try to go run off. It is. Yeah, I really need to live stream our Christmas. You guys would laugh. It's like 12 conversations going off at one time. It's like, oh God, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, and that's one reason I ended that on the 24th, is that way I know some people like to release a big Christmas video, on the 25th.
Yes.
For people,
yes.
So there's still room to do that, and I'll be releasing the bigger one then too. But I just think it'd be a lot of fun if somebody'd like to join in. And as far as content or whatever, I mean, if you're just wanting to show off some guns or, whatever, you don't necessarily have to be, at the range. It just, anything to do with some guns, something to, have fun, something you'd want to share with people.
Mm-hmm. I agree totally, man. And I think it's just kind of part of the fun, and it makes everything enjoyable that we're doing. Defense Dad, words of wisdom. Mic drop of the day from Defense Dad. I always try to pick one comment that really stands out from the rest. Everybody knows the only place for privacy from family is to hide in the bathroom. Yes and no, and then, the family member walks by, you still in there? And you're trying to do your business or check gun.deals to see what's on sale or go to PSA, and you're just trying to have some time to yourself, Yeah. I've actually done that before to get away from people. If there's somebody I don't want to talk to, and I hate to say it, but if they're of a different gender, I'll just walk into the restroom to get away from them. I've done that a couple times. Sorry, I just need a minute here, and I go, and they go away. So, oh man, this is like this is like family therapy this morning is what this is turning into. So, Hillbilly Up, tell us how you really feel about Christmas. No, I'm just messing with you. Oh man, so I think we're about done, guys. We had a great chat today. I know there's a lot of people that are just coming here, that are just showing up. Got to go back and watch it on the replay. again, when it comes down to, you know, the home defense firearm choice, have something. That's all I got to say. Have something that's going to work best for you, that kind of fits. And at a bare minimum, you know, just consider some sort of a handgun of some sort, just because of mobility, capacity, ammo choice. You know, that would be the, you know, even if you don't like guns, you know, it's a tool. It's what it is. It's a tool for self-defense. I don't like my firearms in terms of having to worry about using them, what could happen after, but they're there. I love having my guns. I love going to the range. I love shooting, but I hope I never have to use them for any kind of self-defense. But if it happens, I do want to make sure that I'm choosing something that's going to save my life or my family's life or my dog's life, right? So just, you know, keep that in mind. It really kind of leaves us, I don't want to say it like a dead end, but it does come down to you what works best. So we did discuss a variety of different platforms today, you know, what works best, what doesn't work best, things to consider and so on. But a bare minimum, you know, just like a handgun is a good place to start. And then you go from there. So, all right. I think we will go ahead and get going. What does Defense Dad say out there? If they ask if you're still in there, you say, yeah, but I think I may need a shoehorn. That gets you another 5 minutes. I don't know. I might have to try that and see what happens. I've never tried that one before. I usually go run to the most isolated restroom in the house so I can get away from everybody. So, yeah. Tony says, my Christmas will be quiet. I will be alone for the most of it. I guarantee, Tony, there's going to be somebody going live on Christmas Day. I've done Christmas Day shows before. I'll be live on Christmas Eve for probably an hour or so before my family shows up. So we'll take care of you, Tony. We got your back, man. We're on your 6. So, all right. Deuce says, just got here, LOL. Dude, we've always, well, for the most part, we've been 8 a.m. Central Time for years, buddy, for years. All right, we'll go ahead and call it. So let's go ahead and let the panel give us their outros. We'll give a little shout out on the YouTube side and let everybody get off and start their Saturdays, get going to what they want to do. So Squibload, we'll go ahead and start with you. Anything you want to say before we go?
For those of you who are going to spend your weekend decorating the house with Christmas decorations, I feel your pain.
That's it. That's my Christmas tree right there. I'm afraid to have a real one or a fake one because I'm worried my ammo dog's gonna pee on it. So yeah, man. Yeah, just do what you got to do. Get the tinsel out, get the lights up, and have a good time. So that's right. All right. And Hillbilly Up, any final words of wisdom, man? Anything you want to say?
I just want to thank you very much for having us on here, having me on here. I appreciate it. Great side chat over there today, as every time it is. I just going to start working on some shorts and stuff like that to post. And so anyway, that's about it.
Okay, man. And appreciate it. Yeah.
Great topic today. I mean,
yeah. I mean, we really haven't had just like a best gun for home defense chat in years. I think it's been probably 200 episodes since we've done this chat, if even at all. You know, we discuss guns every week, but like specifically, what do you want? You know, we talk truck guns, we talk best AR, best AK, this and that, but we just really haven't had a good what do you do for home defense? What works for you? You know, at least give people some direction so they know where to start and go from there. But it really just comes down to what you can shoot well and what you're most comfortable with, and you know what you can trust your life to if necessary. So I think that's probably the 3 things to keep in mind. So cool. All right, guys, make sure you get over to Hillbilly Up's channel, American Hillbilly, get subscribed to him, show him a little bit of love. And all right, we'll move on to let's see, New York Outcast. Outcast, any final words of wisdom?
Eat a salad.
Eat a salad. Throw a salad. Toss a salad. Toss salad. Somebody said throw a salad. I think Defense Dad said throw a salad at them when they're coming in the door. So you should. We need more vegetables and we need more water in our diet. I don't disagree with you on that. I mean, it's just,
Majority dehydrated. So take care of your body and mind. Your best.
That way you'll be ready to tackle any challenges that come your way, right?
That's right.
Absolutely.
Put He-Man on them if you got to. Now, other than that, R&L displays. Anybody's welcome to check that out for American-made firearm display. And they are pretty much Debo approved. So if it comes down to it, you could probably clock somebody in the head with it a few times. So
it might hurt. Are you going to have any holiday sales coming up here that people should know about?
I'm sure there will be. I don't know the details, but I'm sure there will be. So
now remember though, my code is still active, right? The TRASP 11 code is still out there for people.
Yep.
Okay, so if you want 11% off plus an additional 4% for a total of 15%, use the discount code TravisP11 at the checkout. And again, it's not an affiliate link. I get no kickbacks from it. I want to support Rob. So, you know, just let you guys know, TravisP11 will save you 11 plus 4%. And if Common Core math is incorrect, that's 15%. So there you go. All right, man. Make sure. Yep.
No, thanks for the invite. Have a great day, everybody.
Hey, absolutely, man. Thank you for the insight. It was good chat, just kind of talking about the security cameras. You know, what about having a second layer security or first layer security? You know, what's going to alert you first? It was a good discussion on that because we really haven't had, we've had discussions on that before, but it's been a very long time. So, all right. And then finally, single shot. I'm sorry we're cutting it so short today, but I think we're kind of at a point where we're going to end it and let everybody start their weekends. Any final words of wisdom from you, brother?
No problem. Thanks for the invite. I had some stuff going there at the beginning of the show. That's why I couldn't get signed in there quick enough to catch it all. But good show. Yeah. I had a lot of good information there. Haven't done much on my channel. Sorry, folks. I've just been way crazy. I had to register my pickup there and change my plates. I had to replace a mailbox yesterday as well. So
what happened? Did you have some local hoodlums come through? What, did you take it out?
What's
did you back over it? Did you back over it?
No, the thing was old and my mail was getting wet. It rusted out in the bottom of it. And my mail carrier always had a problem with having enough storage in that box to take all the stuff that I get. So I went for a bigger box. Those things are not cheap. They're $50 a piece.
Oh yeah. So, yeah, they got expensive. Yeah, I did mine when I first moved into my house. Yeah.
But anyway, got that done, and I was going to do some cooking there at the house so I could have some food to eat out here on the road, but that didn't get done either. So anyhow, I'll wish everybody a safe and happy weekend this weekend. Take care. God bless. America moves by truck.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate having you here and good discussion and good suggestions. I mean, it was nice. We got a nice kind of well-rounded set of options for people to consider if they're looking at getting something for home defense. Just want to talk about this real quick. Deuce says, this is good to know. I never get notifications, even though I have them set to all for my podcast. Well, I've been told that the sooner I can list these, the more the chances that you're going to get a notification of it. Maybe you were just scrolling your subscriber feed and you just missed the notification on mine. That's a possibility. I have had people ask me if I'm still making content anymore. And I'm like, well, yeah, I put out a video every week and they're not getting notifications of a new video that popped up. But it also might depend on how quick you check your feed. You know, maybe you just don't ever get to it. I'm subscribed to like 125 channels. And I usually just go, when I'm watching on my TV, I'll go to subscribers and just scroll down the subscription tab and just see what new content people have put out, because there's stuff that I just don't see in my scrolling because I got to scroll on my phone. So hopefully it's nothing nefarious. I wouldn't think so, but you know, maybe something's going on. I have no idea. But I've had people tell me before that they get no notifications that I'm live and they've got the bell checked, you know, to alert them. So Raw Feeding 101 is out there. Raw Feeding, thank you so much for the super chat. I do appreciate it. Sorry I missed it. Have a great Saturday, everyone. No problem, man. Go back and watch this. We've got a lot of great information for you. And yeah, I think you'll have a good time. Tony York says, I thought it was Sunday. I was waiting on Gary. Yeah, I don't know. Gary should go live after my show. And what I think we have, hey, Squib, do we have Rick's Life? And Rob, is Rick's Life as I see it on today, this afternoon? Is that going to happen?
Should be on at 3.
I think last week he didn't go live. There was something that came up, maybe. I'm not sure, but I thought something popped up. So
yeah, he had a problem with an appointment last week. That,
okay.
Got the loan on him, I believe. So,
okay.
My knowledge, yeah, he should be going live today at 3 this afternoon, I believe.
Okay. Don't forget, as soon as I hear back from Artisan Tony, we're going to be giving away the Mantis Blackbeard X system. Again, that's just, I'm not sponsored by these guys. We're giving this system away. This was given to me from Artisan Tony to do a review on it, and then we'll be shipping it out to the winner. So when my video posts on that, I'm going to post a video tomorrow morning. It's going to be early. Leave a comment on that video. You will be entered into the drawing to win. I'll put some details on that in the comment section of that video. And then over on Artisan Tony's channel, which I got a link for, in the description box, I fixed the link. So shout out to I think it was Travis T that gave me a notification that the link wasn't working. That was in the description box. I fixed it. There's also a link at the end of my video. You can click on Tony's beautiful Dom DeLuise-esque face, and it will take you right over to his channel. And you guys can subscribe, and we'll be doing a live podcast over at his channel. We'll be giving away the Manus Blackbeard X system. Again, it's worth over $300. I want to see somebody win it. It is very, very cool. I hate to give it up, but I am going to buy one myself. So let's see here. Real quick, Squibload question from Raw Feeding 101. He goes, "What's up, y'all?" At Travis P11. Ask Squib how the dog treats worked out. Dog treats, Squib? Any comment on that?
The deer heart's not been in the fridge for a full 3 weeks, or freezer for a full 3 weeks, so haven't taken it out and thawed it yet to give dog treats.
Yeah.
Raw Feeding said to freeze the deer heart that I like to give my my dog. I'll cut it up into pieces and give it to the dog as treats. He said to freeze it for 3 weeks to make sure you kill parasites.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been in there 2 weeks, I think now. Has it been? I don't know. I'm losing track of time here. Let's see. I bagged that deer on this one. Oh, I guess it's been 3 weeks. I'm losing track of time. Sure. It's in there extra for extra reasons.
You just go to work and then you go home, and that's it. That's all you know, right? Yeah. So there you go. There's your answer. R4 Mississippi Thunder says, just like to mention the Heritage Barkey bootlegger set giveaway over on the channel. 46 subs away from 1,000. Once we hit that, I'll put in an entry video. The Barkey bootlegger set that's going to come with the flask and the shot glasses and stuff. It's pretty cool. It's really, really neat. It's got, I think you get the color case hardened finished Barkey pistol revolver, which is really neat. So yeah. So guys, make sure you get over to R4 Mississippi Thunder, like and subscribe. What am I forgetting? There's something very crucial right now that we're forgetting on. Hillbilly Up says, smash that thumbs up and give Travis some love. Do yourself a favor and subscribe too. That's right. Don't cost nothing. All you gotta do is subscribe, and you can follow all the videos. I think that's about it. Yeah. So, all right, guys, we will go ahead and let everybody go here. Oh no, the poll. That's what I was going to check out. The poll real quick. So we had 4 options. Which firearm platform best serves for home defense? 52% said handgun, 27% said shotgun, only 20% said AR, AK, PCC variant of any type that opens it up to anything, and that was only 20%. And then the lever gun gets 2%. I would have voted for the lever gun just because lever guns are cool. 44 mag or 357 lever gun would probably do the job, I would think. So anywho, all right, let's give a shout out on the YouTube side and see who is watching today. R4 Mississippi Thunder, yesterday's Pomade in the house, Gizzard Gary, Tony York, Raw Feeding 101, Hillbilly Up over there and over here, Bjorn, Jim Murray, X Adam 1, Bill Beam watching Deuce in the house. I think we had some Moo out there, two live Moos out there. Patriot in the Dark watching today. I'm out there apparently. Let's see. G-Web's watching today too. G-Webs, thanks for checking it out. He was asking about this. How is it that we keep doing this early every Saturday? I don't know. G, I've been asking myself that question for the last 5 years and the last 260 episodes. Now, I did have 6 months where we did Monday night episodes, but that's just when I was moving. But I hear you, man. It's all about the caffeine, and I do it for the people. Remember, G, I'm here because of you. You created this monster, so there you go. I'm taking away people's sleep time. Let's see who else is watching out there. Boat75, Minnesota Mike B. Is that right? MNMLKEB out there watching today. Hopefully we didn't miss anybody. M. Gabriel is out there, first person to chime in. Kevin June watching today also. Gun-toting pacifist in the house. Tommy Gun watching. Thomas Rees watching today too. Good crowd today. Good crowd, good discussions. Fluffy 10mm Jeep guy. Kendrick 98. Gun-toting pacifists. I think that might be a TT watching. TT Watt in the house today too. Hunting and stuff with J&J watching out there. Ozzy Orsborn. A lot of people. JH586. Defense Dad. We also had Sandhills Media joining us before we went live. He's got a busy day today. He's taking care of everybody. Let's see. Gunpowder Beauty in the house. John Zemo EDC. and Gunmetal Guy USA. So there we go, guys. Ooh, that was exhausting. Just a little shout out to Squibload and Hillbilly Up and New York Outcast and Single Shot. Appreciate you guys being on the panel. And join us next Saturday. We'll have a discussion about what I don't know, but we'll figure it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Be watching for my video on the Mantis Blackbeard X system. I'm going to go ahead and drop that tomorrow. Otherwise, I think that's it. So, guys, I want you to have fun. I want you to be safe. And as you know, we will talk to you soon. Take care, everybody. Have a good one, and goodbye.
Bye, Alicia.